week, there was a tweet by the president that said, and I mentioned this yesterday, 2 long-running Obama-era investigations of 2 very popular Republican congressmen were brought to a well-publicized charge just ahead of the midterms by the Jeff Sessions Justice Department. 2 easy wins now in doubt because there is not enough time. Good job, Jeff. Should a president be able to use his authority to pressure executive or independent agencies to carrying out directives for purely political purposes?
Senator, I understand the question, but I think one of the principles of judicial independence that judges, sitting judges, and I am a sitting judge, and nominees sitting here need to be careful about is commenting on current events or political controversies. I don't think we want judges commenting on the latest political controversy because that would ultimately lead the people to doubt whether we're independent or whether we're politicians in robes. And so maintaining that strict independence of the judiciary requires me, I think, to avoid commenting on any current events.
All right, forget I just said that.
Well, I respect. I said I understand, but I just
just answer this question. Yeah. Should a president use his or her authority to pressure executive or independent agency officials into carrying out directives for purely political purposes?
Well, Senator, I think that hypothetical that you're asking is directly analogous to the current events, and therefore I hesitate to get in. It's also me commenting on something that's not a case or an issue or something I've written about. And I've thought about this principle as well and looking at all the nominee precedent of the Supreme Court nominees in the past. And I think about Chief Justice Roberts, and I think an underappreciated aspect of his chief justiceship is how he's fervently stood up for the independence of the judiciary and tried to keep the judiciary out of politics through what he does off the bench as well as on the bench. And I think he sets the tone for the entire American judiciary. And I think that tone of not getting us involved in politics means I need to stay not just away from the line, but 3 zip codes away from the line of current events or politics. And so I understand, but I respectfully decline.
Let me rephrase it a different way. If you have an executive who's abusing his or her authority by instructing independent agencies of government to use or to pursue political ends, are there any remedies other than the one that you mentioned, political remedy involving Congress? Or is there something short of that? And I understand your aversion, as many in this body had, I wasn't here yet, to the independent counsel statute that we did away with. You've expressed you're a little more sanguine about a special counsel. But what other remedies are there? And what other constraints are there on a president?
Well, the constraints are on the executive generally are important ones. The appropriations power is a huge check. That is an enormous check if employed as fully as it might be. The confirmation power of executive branch officials, the ultimate check, of course, that you referred to is always part of the system. And then just to be clear on the special counsel system that I've spoke approvingly of in the 1999 Law Journal article, and I've referred to in my PHH opinion just last year, the traditional system that exists. And then I have said what I said about the old independent counsel statute, but that was a statute that had a lot of parts to it. And if a case came before me that had a different statute that you had enacted, or that statute, I would have an open mind about considering the arguments in favor of that and against it, of course. And so those are, that possibility is present to the Congress, of course, in general.
But if the president could fire an independent counsel or the special counsel, is that any restraint at all?
Senator, that hypothetical was tested, I suppose, in the September of 1973, if I have my month right. And might not have my month right, but it might have been a different month, but in 1973. And the system held.
Right. Thank you. We'll move on and maybe get back to this tomorrow.